Hey folks, it's Nightmare, Twisted Nightmare Gaming. Um, Normally, when I do these top lists, I'm probably in my car because I probably just got off of work, which is actually the case right now. I literally just got off work in the last 4 or 5 minutes, and while I was at work, I was thinking, let me do a couple of top lists. I wouldn't even say top list. I'd probably be like more like superstar of the year for like certain companies and things like that. Um, some of them are going to be a little bit more biased than others because I'm more fans of certain people than others. So yeah. So for this list, I'm going to do the Superstar of the Year for Ring of Honor for male and female. I'm going to do Tag Team of the Year. I'm going to do Faction of the Year. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for ROH Male Superstar of the Year, again, like I said, I shouldn't be biased when I say this name, but I am. Even though I should say Jay Lethal, conventional wisdom says Jay Lethal, just because of the storyline that they ran with him all year last year. I'm going with Matt Taven. Why? And you can probably see where this is going now. He also had a storyline that was just as important, if not a little more so, than Jay Lethal's. Jay Lethal was running a full-fledged redemption story. The Kingdom Conspiracy storyline was probably one of the best things I've been watching with and been a part of for the last year and a half, 2 years. And now that Taven is walking around with the real Ring of Honor World Championship, and they've also said the conspiracy is now dead after regaining the 6-man tag titles. Here's hoping that the Kingdom wins the regular tag titles soon. Here's hoping. Again, like I said, I'm quite biased, but those were probably the two best storylines running this year. Because again, I'm not a big fan of the Elite or the Bullet Club Elite. Well, now they're just the Elite. Now that now they're not even in the company. The only person that was in the Bullet Club that's still in Ring of Honor is Marty Scurll. And now he's got Villain Enterprises going. And that's pretty much going to be direct competition for the Kingdom. So, like I said, based on just his counter storyline plus the conspiracy storyline with the Kingdom and them finally getting that storyline, which is probably going to let you know who's going to be the faction of the year for me in Ring of Honor. It's going to be the Kingdom. Just let you know. I'm going to go ahead and just say, let's go ahead and segue into it. Kingdom's my faction of the year. A lot of the shit that went on with the Kingdom, the whole Kingdom conspiracy, I threw my hat in the ring a lot of times with that story. Not gonna lie, as much shit as I talked to Ring of Honor on Twitter, there's a couple of letters that I've sent to Ring of Honor saying that they were screwing the Kingdom, they were screwing Matt Taven. You let Matt and Nick Jackson hold the 6-man tag titles and only defend them maybe twice in a 7-month time span. I get that they have obligations to New Japan, which was their primary company, but Matt, Vinny, and TK spend more time in Ring of Honor than most guys. So them finally getting the vindication and winning those tag titles, the 6-man tag titles, and saying that the conspiracy is finally dead, was well worth the whole storyline of the last year and a half. Um, Women's superstar of the year for me was going to be Kelly Klein. I'm not really going to go into much explanation as to why Kelly Klein is, but I've been watching period as much as I can with what they've been doing with her, and the fact that she finally won the title at Final Battle pretty much, validates the entirety of of what was going on with her. Suma Sakai was a great inaugural Women of Honor champion, which makes perfect sense, and Kelly Klein makes a great second person to have that title. Tag team of the year. This one, I can either go Briscoes, I can go SCU, I can go Matt Nick Jackson, but they kind of get downplayed simply because they were doing they were running back and forth, and they had the tag titles and then lost them, and then they lost them again, and then their obligations to New Japan. But in this instance, I'm going to go with that's a tough choice. Because me being biased, I'd have to go with SCU, but I'm gonna go with the Briscoes because I'm also a huge fan of the Briscoes. I've been a huge fan since since they started in Ring of Honor. So that kind of plays into me picking the Briscoes, but this last year, them chasing and finally getting that 10th title reign was perfectly worth the wait at Final Battle as well. But that was really how it went. Close second really would have been SCU. Just because, again, biases towards SCU. I don't really have much for breakout star in Ring of Honor because too many things happened this past year. So, different people have done different things. I mean, Punishment Martinez winning the ROH TV title. Hell, Silas Young had the TV title at one part of the year too. And then Punishment getting utterly destroyed by Jeff Cobb. I mean, but for this particular video, that was really it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Like, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell 3 times, like my boy Alex says. Just throw out a few updates real quick. We will start having more Vanguard stuff on the channel starting in the next couple of weeks. Twisted and the crew on that end have really been putting in some work trying to get, some matches going so that we can post those up, and then some subsequent deck profiles from those people from those matches. Twist has been topping quite well lately over at some of the locals here in the greater Orlando area. And some of the others have been doing quite well too. Shout outs to them. Next month in February, if I'm not mistaken, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals in Kissimmee is gonna be taking place, and I'm actually going to take place in that, much like I did last year, where for my first regional or YCS tournament in 8-9 years, 3-5-1 with Gravekeepers, where the meta is completely sped up to a point of no return. You can't complain with me going 3-5-1, where I actually ended up beating, at the time, Spiral Nightmare was one of my 3 wins, which was hilarious. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I just thought about it. What I'm gonna do now is, instead of making 3 separate videos, I might as well do Superstar of the Year for the main roster WWE, a Superstar of the Year for the women, and then a Tag Team of the Year, which really isn't one. I guess you could say the Bar, seeing as how they were on Raw, lost the tag titles, then within a matter of 6-7 months after they finally put them on the show, they win the tag titles on SmackDown. So I mean, now they're right there in the conversation of best tag team with the Usos and the New Day, because now I believe they've held the tag titles between Raw and SmackDown 4 or 5 times as well. So I'm gonna go with them for the tag team of the year, but the tag team on the main roster are horrible this past year, because the WWE didn't really focus on tag teams, and Vince said it himself. Male Superstar of the Year. This is not NXT. I'm gonna say do an NXT list in just a minute. Male Superstar of the Year. You got so many that I can actually say. But if I'm going to pick one, Randy Orton. Yes, he hasn't won any title this year, besides the United States title. But it's his heel turn and the work he's been doing as a heel this year. My close second would have probably been Samoa Joe, because he's been consistent as a heel all year when they've used him. And let's face it, the whole thing with AJ was the funniest thing all year on SmackDown. Women's Superstar, Becky Lynch. I ain't picking Charlotte. I ain't picking Ronda. Ronda's pretty much gridlocked the women's title on Raw, and she's even said it. She should have never won the women's title. She should have basically done everything she's doing right now, being the baddest bitch on the planet, without a women's title, because she was good enough to legit do it. All right, so we've done male woman tag team. I'll do Cruiserweight Superstar of the Year. Cruiserweight, I'm gonna have to give it to Cedric, because he held down when they shifted everything around with the Cruiserweight division on 205 Live. They gave him the ball and he ran with it for about 7.5 months, and then he dropped the title to Buddy Murphy, and now we're seeing what Buddy Murphy can do with it. But just for that, them putting the trust in him, finally put the title on him and let him run, hold it down for the Cruiserweights. He gets my nod for Cruiserweight Superstar of the Year. Now to NXT. Male Superstar of the Year's Ciampa. Who else? Who else am I going to pick? Johnny? Because of Ciampa, Johnny is what he is right now. Because of what Ciampa did to Johnny, Johnny subsequently did to Alistair, and now Alistair's where he's at because of the two of them. So, what did you expect? That was kind of obvious that it was gonna be Ciampa. Women's Superstar of the Year. Logically, I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to go with Shayna Baszler, with a close second being the undefeated Bianca Belair. And the only reason why I can't put Bianca over Shayna is Bianca hasn't won a title yet. If Bianca wins the title this year, more than likely she's gonna become my female superstar of the year for NXT this year. Since there's a tag team and there's the faction, but they kind of go hand in hand with each other, I don't really have a tag team per se of the year in NXT. But faction is going to be the Undisputed Era. That was kind of obvious. Two-time tag champions. They won the Dusty Rhodes Classic. And then the storyline that was told with Roddy earlier in the year, when they initially offered him the spot in Undisputed Era in 2017, and he turned it down, going all the way until January, right before the Dusty Classic was wrapping up, to where he ended up right when the Dusty Classic, the tournament was actually going on, and he joins them. He joins Undisputed Era. I guess I can go tag team. I guess I'll do a tag team of the year. Inside of the Undisputed Era, I guess I'm going with Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, take everything I just said about Faction of the Year and put it smack dab for the tag team. They were the tag team that held it down the most for the faction. So, there's really not much I can say. I don't really have one for Impact, because the only thing I can truthfully say about Impact is Superstar of the Year is Sammy goddamn Callahan. The motherfucking draw. Women Knockout of the Year, Tessa? I mean, I can't go wrong with saying Tessa or Allie. Either one is fine with me. Tag team, LAX. That one's the most obvious one out of all of them. LAX has been there for the longest. They've now they now have held the tag titles the longest amount of time than anyone else. Like I congratulated them on Twitter. I've been riding with them for the longest, so you know. And these are a lot of these are just cut and dry straight from Impact's thing, and I had to agree with a lot of them because these are how I voted on a lot of these. And the X Division Superstar of the Year, okay, they call him Gage, the Machine, Brian Gage. I mean, I've been watching that man do his thing for a while. I remember when he did Gut Check. That's how long I've been rolling with this man. When they should have picked him up back then, and they didn't. And he does his thing over in Lucha Underground, and he's doing his thing now over in Impact, where the first person to legit pin him, Sami Callihan. Because of Sami Callihan, Eddie Edwards is as nuts as he is right now. Well, Sammy first, and then Moose afterwards. But like I said before, probably about 10 minutes ago in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell 3 times, and put your comments down below if you disagree or agree with what I said in this video. Like I said, Vanguard videos are coming up. I'm gonna start myself personally. I'm gonna start alternating between me doing the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Pokemon, and the wrestling content. I'm actually going up to a show in Ocala, unless plans change, a week from this Saturday on the 12th, and then on the 11th I'm also going to be out at ARW, so go check them out. really good. Like they call it, like they said it, it's the new face of Extreme. It's one of my favorite promotions that's out there right now. I will plug them wholeheartedly as much as I can, as long as I remember to when I'm not busy. So you may start hearing me plug them even in my Yu-Gi-Oh profile videos. When we start doing duels and things like that, you may hear either me or Twisted actually start plugging them more and more, because it's one of those companies here that we really enjoy promoting. And we have a lot of respect for everybody there. Just like I'll promote WXW as much as I can too, because I know everybody there for the most part. I've been going to WXW shows for 6.5 years, almost 7. One of my closest friends has been wrestling in that has been in that company for almost 10 years now. So I've been, like I said, some of the guys who've helped me lose weight are in that company. One of my closest friends that's helped also has given me advice on losing weight. He just signed a full-time contract to ROH again, and that's my boy Shane Taylor. Shout outs to him. But again, this is Nightmare, Twisted Nightmare Gaming. Peace, y'all.